there.
All right.
Let me just add to that. The biggest benefit to Islamic finance from this crisis is essentially people are now more aware about Islamic finance. Before this, they were so engrossed about doing business in the conventional market and making tons and tons of money, they couldn't care less about Islamic finance, and customers couldn't care less about Islamic finance because they get serviced by the conventional market very easily. Right? So for the first time, all of a sudden, people have to consider an alternative. Oh, what about Islamic finance? Let's explore this. Let's call the bank. I mean, previously, companies that had never given the light of day to Islamic bankers before, Islamic banks before, all of a sudden pick up the phone and call the Islamic banks and, could you please explain to me about what I can get from Islamic finance? And that in itself gives deal pipelines for the future. That in itself gives a lot more greater momentum for the industry to grow. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I think I'd like to echo what Dr. Mohammed Nadal said in his opening remark. I think during the crisis, as we are now going through still, it is a good time for us to really test out the robustness of the Islamic market as a whole and the products. However, I must also say that sometimes it can be not too nice when we start to single out each and every one of the sukuk that has kind of like defaulted. Although there probably are as many or if not more conventional bonds that have defaulted. Nevertheless, I think this is a really a good time during this period to really test out how the Islamic products work out during a financial crisis like this. On the other hand, the opportunities, purely, it is really very nice to think that going forward, as what has been said by Badlisyah earlier, that it is actually a extremely good time for us because of the fact that people now are more aware of what Islamic sukuk and products are all about. Therefore, going forward, investors would know and know the alternative or the option as to how the product work, and obviously that would be good for the issuers as a whole because you really then have the alternative to issue either a conventional or a sukuk for the matter. Thanks.
Jacques, are there more calls on the Najma side of the house than the BNP Paribas side?
Yeah, just to come back on what is our main asset. Our main asset is the core tenets of Islamic finance. I mean, which prevent us to enter this subprime crisis or this huge leverage buyouts and the Madoff scandal. So we have not. I mean, we have to keep in mind these core tenets. And opportunities come from all the investment needed in the GCC region. I mean, Islamic finance has to have a better share of this large cake, if I may say so. And we need more instruments. We need innovation. I mean, you can't enter 15 years, 20 years Islamic tranche of project finance without hedging tools. So we are developing more and more the profit rate swap, currency swap. And it's time also to have more innovation, keeping in mind the tenets of Islamic finance. We have to be very careful not to push the envelope too far. And I think we need a watchdog, and I'm very pleased by what Dr. Ashar mentioned. Other opportunities come from the fact that in the GCC we have a lot of needs for investment. Some banks have disappeared, are not playing their role. Also, I think a good thing with this crisis is also to force the Islamic Bank to diversify and not to look only at the 2 digits return on real estate, private equity, but to go to some other part of the economy, commercial industry. So these are also good opportunities in the Gulf.
Okay, Danny, a quick answer, and then we have a question and a question.
Okay. Very quick answer to Dr. Humayun's excellent question. Current opportunities for Islamic finance, I think a lot has been said about capital markets, but what is the function of capital markets is really to help the real economy. And I think a lot can be said about the current opportunities for Islamic finance to touch the lives of every single person right now who requires finance. Everyone really needs a home mortgage finance right now. Everyone needs credit cards, especially those in the United States, for example. In some parts of Europe, we're quite all right here in Asia, generally speaking. But there should be a big push in terms of introducing retail financing products that touch the real economy significantly. And that would in turn allow for more issuers, for example, to pursue Islamic finance. And I look forward to the day that the United States will issue a sovereign sukuk. That will be fantastic.
Some of us are worried what the Congress will do right now before that day. Dr. Al-Shar has a question which we're going to ask one panelist to take just because of the time.
It's not really a question, it's a comment. I think we have to be very careful in evaluating this recent interest and demand in Islamic banking and finance. We shouldn't be naive to think that most of those who come to us to adopt our system are really interested in our system. Some of the times they are interested in our money. And this is a fair cause. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But at least we should know that they're interested in the money, in the liquidity, because of the crisis today,